Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another batch of comic book reviews. Of course, we've got to talk about Tom King destroying the Batman family in Batman number 83. We're going to be looking at, while it's late, I had to do it, King Thor number 1. And what we're going to start off with is the independent comic book this week. It's called Folklords. Starting off with the cover for Folklords, we're going to talk about this one first. And it's very much what you see. He's living in what looks like a medieval village. And he's in a modern-day business suit. Okay, we're even told, hey, why are you dressed in that ridiculous thing? And he's wearing modern clothes. I love this. This is exactly what's in the book. This cover is perfectly representative of what's inside. Hopefully it gets people picking it up. The reason being is because, and I don't know how long I'm going to be needing for this, but Matt Kindt and Matt Smith, they really do give a good story here. So we start off, like I said, the kid's getting dressed, he's getting in his suit, and then at the end, you're not going out dressed like that, are you? And we find out he's living in like a fantasy village, you know, orcs, that kind of stuff. But we come to find out that this is kind of sort of a graduation day for him and his classmates. And they have to talk about what kind of quest they want to go on. What is it they hope to find? What is it they hope to change? Perhaps they'll change themselves. Perhaps they'll change the world. What is it you're looking for? And in this case, the young gentleman, the protagonist, wants to go and find the Folklords. Unfortunately, the Folklords have been declared to be dangerous and fake. If anybody does choose that, they're usually just bringing it up could get you arrested. And so he's kind of questioning, well, wait a second, this is really what I want to do. I get the feeling, of course, the Folklords are those of us who tell the tales. They haven't said that out yet outright in the first issue here, but that's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting from them. So it's all about these kids who are choosing and picking and choosing what they want to do and where they want to go in their life. And it really is done very well. The dialogue is very specific to each character. And this is something I've been lamenting about. The fact that a lot of writers have recently anyway been seriously just putting their own voice into every character. And every character sounds the same. There's nothing different in everything. At one point in time, the kid in front of him picks his quest. Like, right out, he couldn't think of anything, so he said, I'm going to look for the Folklords. And he's immediately arrested, and we find out that if anybody actually ventures outside of the village, they're going to be arrested and maybe executed. And the two guys get together and they say, you know what, screw it, let's go for it anyway. And that's basically the premise of, I guess, the entire series. And yeah, so far so good, gang. I think this is a really exciting book, and one I think you should pick up if you're into indies. Next up, we're talking about Batman number 83, and let me say something. I've been very critical of City of Bane and a lot of Tom King's Batman writing, but I really actually don't mind the art. Granted, Batman looks about 10 years younger than he really should be, but this is a poster cover that really does tell everything that's going on inside the book, and I've got to commend that. There's an old saying, it goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And then there's what I love, the Southern woman version of that, which goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, sit by me and let's talk. So I'm plopping myself down and I'm about to lay some stuff out because I don't have a lot of nice things to say. Which sucks because this is the issue I've been waiting for. Seriously. Look, you snap Alfred's neck 4 issues ago, and then you completely ignore it. You don't talk about it. You don't tell us anything. There is no real reaction to anything. This is the heartfelt reaction from Batman to Alfred. Get rid of the damn dialogue, and this would be a much more powerful issue. You don't need all that rambling dialogue. And let me tell you something. One of the worst things Tom King does as far as writing is concerned, and he does it writ large here, is he will tell a story that has nothing to do with what we're seeing on the page. In this case, yeah, it's a memory of Alfred and Bruce when he's younger, when he's just getting started with the Batman, the whole 9 yards. And in all honesty, it was just, I'm done. Okay, this is done already. Get rid of the dialogue balloons. You'll be able to follow the story perfectly, and it's a much more powerful story. Let me get this perfectly clear. Get rid of what makes Tom King Tom King, and this book is powerful. It's emotional. It means something. But as it is, it's a gimmick. It really is. It's a distracting gimmick. There's no weight to it if you let Tom King do what Tom King does. This book should have been a 5-hanky comic. Seriously. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Alfred's dead and Batman has to deal with it. And it's the look on Batman's face for most of this should sell it. But unfortunately, it's messed up. It's ruined, and he's done this so many times in so many different stories that it's just like, oh, please, just drop it. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself at this point, Tom King. Honestly, you're just embarrassing yourself. More to the point, you're doing it with our character, okay? He's not yours. After you're gone, someone else is going to take over. And after that person is gone, someone else is going to take over. That's why the character always matters. That's why it was important for the illusion of change, how Stan Lee used to call it. So he's available for the next generation. And you are destroying what makes Batman good. Okay, gang, I know I'm late on this one, but here's issue number 1 of King Thor. And in all honesty, I dig the art. I dig the art on the cover. I like the cover. It's not a story cover, it's a poster cover, but it actually tells the story of what's going on inside as well, and that is no small feat. Good on them. I gotta admit, I was a little bit, I don't know, hesitant to pick this book up. I want a good Thor story, but we haven't had a good Thor story, in my opinion, in a long time. So when they open up and it's this new version of the Warriors 3, these 3 women, by the way, and that's what they are, by if you haven't noticed, it's just a replacement for the Warriors 3. I was like, oh gosh, not these, because I've never seen them written well, in all honesty. It's always, rah girl, but we get it, you're strong, you don't, I guess Volstagg used to boast, but that would be something. If they would have one of them boast, then it makes sense. So they meet this librarian thing, and he's telling them the stories and such, and they get attacked. That's the opening gambit here. And really, you should pay attention, because this comes up later, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to admit, as I'm reading through, I'm not minding this book. I'm thinking, oh wow, okay, this is going somewhere. This is doing something. I'm in for this. I really am. They're talking about the rise and the fall of the gods, and how there's a god killer out there and everything. And then we cut to Thor and Loki in a fight, and it's like, this is the battle. This is it. This time, these 2 guys, they're going after each other, and this looks to be the very end of either Thor or Loki. One of these 2 are not going to be walking away from this fight. That's the way it's coming off. At one point, and I pulled out his entrails, although we never actually see entrails flopping around when we then see Thor in another picture. But seriously, I gotta tell you, this is an incredibly intense and brutal fight between Thor and Loki, something I didn't think I would see ever, tell you the truth. But it's something I gotta tell you I wanted to see. The only bad thing is we don't really get to see magics at play. We get to see brute strength. And yeah, at one point, Thor puts Mjolnir in the sun and it gets heated. So yeah, there's magic there, but I'm talking about the fight should not be brute force versus brute force. It should be cunning versus brute force. That, well, in the electrical powers, but that's the way they've been fighting. That would be a Loki versus Thor fight. If it's just brute force versus brute force, it's Thor versus Thor. And that's what we're given. That's the bad side. But in all honesty, that's a very small nit to pick. And in all honesty, this is the best Thor story I've read in a long long time. Seriously. And I like the ending. I really want to see. I know I'm a bit behind. I've got a couple of issues waiting for me here, and I'm very curious to find out what happens next. This is a cool book. Good week so far. So there you go, gang. Those are the 3 reviews. 1 DC, 1 Marvel, 1 Independent, same as always. And the big winner, I would have to say, is Folklords. I really enjoyed this comic book. I think it's got an original premise, and I highly recommend it. The second place would be King Thor. Exciting, brutal fight, and something I haven't seen from Thor in a long time. A good story. And, of course, the loser, once again, is Tom King's Batman. He's lost the character. He has no idea who Batman is, and in this case, get rid of Tom King's writing and just follow the art, which I understand is based on his writing. But just let the sequential art tell the story, and you've got yourself a decently strong book. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to click like and share, subscribe if you haven't done it already, and ring that notification bell. That's all YouTube really cares about when they actually care at all. Now, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon, drop a dollar in the till, and helps keep the lights on, helps keep making videos for you. This is the way we're trying to make a living, and YouTube is making that difficult. If you want to commission a video, you could go to Ko-Fi, just pick out your topic, pick out your subject, and we'll get that video out to you ASAP. And as far as patrons are concerned, with every $5 a month, you get to pick a video a month. So it's like if you 5 gets 1, 10 gets 2, so forth and so on. And I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.